Hey guys, welcome to my first video of the new year. And I'm just going to start off by saying I built a new API recently for the suggestions bot. I kind of want to share more about why I built it and what I built it for. However, before we do that, I want to jump into why I'm making this video. Really, I just want to do more with like my brand and YouTube channel, Twitter, all of that this year. So all that goes into why I want to make this videos. And again, a big part of me not making videos in the past has just been overthinking stuff and being really granular about pushing out content instead of actually pushing out content, sharing stuff that I'm interested in and sharing stuff that I find interesting going on in the tech and developer space. So jump right into this video. I hope you guys like it. If you don't mind, drop a like, comment, even subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, because as they say, it helps the YouTube algorithm out, which helps me out. So why did I create this API? Well, what this API is built for right now is to just take how many servers my bot's in and post that to TopGG, Discord bot list, all these other bot lists. Issue being, the way I was doing it before wasn't really scaling. And at one point, I even added on a package to help manage stats being posted across all these services. It didn't really work all that well, and I wasn't really fond of how the package worked. So I decided that was going to be one of the reasons why I made this package. Another reason, I wanted to branch out and try out different programming languages. That was another big reason because I didn't want to feel stuck in the JavaScript and TypeScript space for so long. I wanted something new, wanted to really get the gears turning in my brain on problem solving in different programming paradigms, which language I used is a different programming paradigm, and just overall tackling that comfort I feel when writing code in JavaScript and TypeScript. So next, I want to jump into the technology behind this API and what this API does. For now, simply this API is going to take the server count, sit from the bot. It's going to take that count and it's going to save it to the database. At the same time it's saving this count to the database, it's taking that count and it's posting to all the different bot lists that I have. I have TopGG, Discord.bots.gg, DiscordBotlist.com. Those are just to name a few. I currently have 5 bot lists in total that I am posting the stats to. Now that list is something I do want to grow going into the future, especially that I have this API now, and I can just add in new APIs without really thinking too much about the backend, because again, this API I built really supports adding on new the API list, bot list at the same time, sorry. And I found, a lot of these APIs for the different bot lists, they're structured in a similar way where the headers are the same and the routes are similar. I will show like screenshots of the code base, the config files, that sort of stuff as you go through the video so you can get an idea of how I built it. For the main technologies I used, the first one I used was just GoFiber. You can see like some screenshots and some videos on screen right now of the documentation and just how this web server functions, which again, GoFiber is a web server. It was recommended to me by a friend a long time ago, and I used it in the previous project and decided to use it again in this project because it's really familiar to use, and integrating different middlewares and packages was super easy to add on. Next piece of technology I integrated was PostgreSQL as a database, and I use PGX as the database driver. I went with Postgres because I want to get more back into SQL again, as I've been using MongoDB for the past couple of years. I find there are benefits using SQL. A lot of the projects I've kind of used in the past have followed like a very regimented like structure and schema. And again, I just want to get back into SQL and mess with that again because it's been a couple of years since I have. Also, the reason why I'm looking off to the side, I have my notes over here, so I'm not like being weird or anything. So I use PGX, which has been a really great tool in integrating with my Postgres database. And the next step I did was introducing migrations. Migrations are pretty much something you will run whenever you make a change to your schema. So a schema is pretty bare bones right now. Here's a screenshot of how it looks. You can also, again, check the repository in the description to see how it looks. But the schema, it's important that when you change the schema that you actually run proper migrations so the database can properly handle it. Because if you just throw in a new field or change a certain field type and not run those migrations, pretty sure things can start breaking and you don't want that to happen. So it's kind of like a little bit of a nuance with SQL where you have to run those migrations, but I think it's kind of a good fail-safe method. I'm still like something I'm learning more about, but migrations I feel are a good fail-safe method. Next thing is talk about how am I running the server. Well, like a lot of my other applications, I'm running it in a Docker container, and the same with the database that's being run in the Docker container, all like in the stack. So I have the API service, and I have the database service, which talks to each other in that stack on a network, integrates really nicely together. And then I use a sort of a reverse proxy system similar to Nginx called Traefik. I'll post a screenshot of Traefik right now so you can, if you want to take a look at that. I've been using Traefik for a couple of years now. It was recommended by a good friend of mine who's a systems administrator, and I've been using Traefik on my servers ever since. Again, I would check the documentation because there's so much more to Traefik than what I know or what I'm using, so I can't really get into it here on this video. Otherwise, I would be going on for too long. So that's the technology behind the API. There's a couple other packages, here and there in between. You could probably check out the go.mod file on the repo so you can see more specifically of the technology. I know some of you guys will be interested in that. So next, we're going to talk about the future of the API. And I do have a couple plans on where I want to take this API into the future. So first, what I want this API to be. I want this API to be more of like not so much of like a bare bones, but a foundation for other developers to build on. So for example, I have the ability to add on different bot services over time. And then voting. Voting is the next big step I want to take. I kind of want a centralized system for voting, somewhere that could be a starting point. So this could be getting how many votes a user has, how many times a user has voted in the past 24 hours, handling webhooks from these different voting lists all in one location, being this API. That sort of integration. Because not only will this help me and my bot going forward, because I want to have voting a part of the bot experience in some way. I know a service like this, an API like this, can help other developers out there with their own bots. So that's another big reason why I want to add on voting. Because I've seen plenty of bots that integrate voting really well within their services, such as Dank Memer. They even DM you when you have voted. So I think that could be a cool feature that people can add in on the API themselves. Or maybe I can add in and allow people to configure it somehow. Voting is another big thing, or is a big thing I want to add on. Another big thing I want to add on is the ability to add bot list and remove bot list from the API. And this could be going to the next thing, which is implement a command line and a web app. So you can manage the API and bot list going to the config file from the command line, or have like a little web dashboard, super simple, where you can view all the services, add or remove different services, which I refer to bot list as services in the API. And you can also view, votes for a particular user and stuff like that. Just simple stuff that gives people a foundation, a starting point for where they might want to take the API for their own bots. So a web app, a command line, and voting. Those are some of the main things I have in mind for the API. Also, another big thing, which will probably be happening sooner than the voting aspect, is documentation. README is pretty bare right now. There's really no issue templates, contributor guidelines, that sort of stuff. So I do want to try and push that out pretty soon, because I know a couple people have been asking me, hey, do you plan on providing documentation for self-hosting and setting this API up? I do plan on providing that because I feel this would definitely be a service that would be useful for a lot of bot developers out there, whether they're learning and just messing around with something new, or they actually have a public bot that they would benefit from using a service like this. So future API, I think, is looking pretty bright. I think with those couple of things set in stone for the API. I think could there be room for improvement and other features to add on? Definitely. And if you guys have ideas, you can always head over to the repo, post something in issues, or join the suggestions Discord below, hop in the development channel, and you could talk more there about. So closing notes. This API so far has been a lot of fun to work on. Golang hasn't really been challenging, but it's been different. In terms of like programming paradigms, I'm more familiar with object-oriented approach with JavaScript and TypeScript, but Golang is more of a functional approach. So you're writing a lot more functions and handling things with functions than classes and getters and setters and stuff like that, and just general object structures. So it's an interesting programming paradigm, but it has definitely taught me to think about programming a different way in terms to writing functions versus writing objects and classes. Another thing is it's fun to be programming again and working on something new. This project has helped a lot with that. Just working on something new, learning different ways of programming, just having fun with programming has been some of the main things I've been experiencing working on this API. So if you're interested in hearing more about this API or me talk about more of my own projects or other projects out there, just leave a comment below, leave a like, hit the subscribe button. It will help me out, help the YouTube algorithm out, as you've heard millions of times on this platform. Couple links in the description below. There's the repository for this API, so you can check it out. And then there's the suggestions Discord. I have a development category there where you can talk more about the development of different projects and aspects of the suggestions bot itself. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. It's my first video 2022. Hopefully there will be more to come. Thank you guys. Have a good one. Happy New Year. As always, have a great day. Also, don't forget to contribute, okay? Post some issues, some pull requests. I want to see some action on this repo. I'm expecting you guys. I'm expecting you to be a part of that. Don't let me down. Follow me on Twitter. It's the first link in the description. I'm posting more there. Tweet me.